Okay, guys. Hey, what's up? I'm back with another DDD deck profile and tournament report. So, a couple weeks ago, I entered a remote duel tournament with a different version of this deck. Um, and it was a VFD version. I ended up winning that tournament. I think it was an OTS tournament. Um, but this deck profile is the updated profile that I used for the March 2021 ban list, and it was a 3v3 tournament, 10 teams. Um, it was pretty dope. We played 4 rounds of Swiss and then cut to top 4 teams. And we ended up winning the tournament. Technically, we split in the finals, but so I guess both the teams won, I guess. Yeah. So, without further ado, this is the deck profile, guys. Get ready. Okay, guys. So for this tournament, we played DDDs like always. This is the deck that I've been playing for a couple formats now, and just been trying to perfect this deck, trying to make it as good as possible, right? And it's rogue, so I like rogue decks. Even if I'm playing meta, I have to put some kind of sauce into it. So this deck, it's kind of funny because when I went to the tournament, I was told by my teammate A1 that it was going to be old format. So I still had VFD in it. I was chilling. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll be fine. When I get there, I get told it's new format. So I was like, oh, damn it. My main deck is definitely not prepared for this format, right? But I knew it would be good enough to at least top. So all I had to do was switch out a couple cards in my extra deck and I'll be fine. So I switched out the VFD and a little bit of the VFD package, and I went with this deck. Beforehand, I used to play like Link Rebo and VFD in here and Crocosaurus, but those cards aren't in this version. That's the version for the VFD. But without further ado, I'm gonna get right into it. To keep in mind, we got we went 3-1 in Swiss, and I won 4 out of my 5 duels, and that one duel that I lost, my team ended up winning. So to start off, we played 3 Kepler. We each got a box of Blazing Vortex, by the way. So we played 3 Kepler, 3 Slime, 3 of the green slime, and 3 Lamia, and one more 3 of DD Savant Copernicus. So we play all 3 of these cards because of each copy of these cards because they're the combo of this deck. These are the cards you want to open with all the time. So you want to see these cards in your hand all the time. Green is an extender, Lammy is an extender, Copernicus is an extender / starter. Necro, he's probably the worst of the starters / extenders because you have to find out a way to get him into the graveyard, which you can use Lamia, or let's say if you have a Link Rebo in the graveyard, you can normal summon the Necro Slime and use Link Rebo, send it to the graveyard, use Necro Engrave to summon another DDD fusion from your extra deck with himself and another DDD. So this package should definitely be self-explanatory by now. These are like the best DDD cards. So this package should always be in somebody's deck. So that's like 15 cards. And then on for the rest of the DDDs, we played 2 ghosts. You could play 3. It's not bad. There's actually its own combo. 2 Ragnarok and 1 Vice. This has been my lineup for these ratios of guys for a while now, and I'm very happy with it. Actually, I'm very surprised at how good the DDD Vice Typhon is. Abyss Ragnarok, you can play him at 3, but I didn't want him to clog too much, and I didn't want to see multiples in my hand because he's not an actual starter. And Ghost, he's just a generically good card. He has a BA-esque effect. Whenever he sends a graveyard, he sends another copy, so it loads your graveyard up for your Chaos Ruler. And he also gets other names for your fusions into the graveyard. So I mean, that's it for the DDD monster lineup, and then on to the hand traps. So like I was saying, this version was made for last format, so I was kind of prepared for VFD. So triple gamma, one driver. Everybody knows gamma by now. Broken card. Then we played two Skullmeisters, three Ash Blossoms, and one Nibiru. The reason I played this ratio is because Skullmeister isn't once per turn. These guys are. Also, Nibiru is a light monster. You can add off of Chaos Ruler. Same for Meister. Meister is also another card you can add off of Chaos Ruler. Ash you can't. You kind of have to draw it from the combo with draw 2 and then search 1. But we don't actually play those cards in this deck anymore. So this ratio definitely has to change up. These Skullmeisters are definitely getting changed out. Definitely not that good in this format. It's decent against, let's say, Dragon Link, but for the most part, it is not that great in this format because it doesn't really combat Virtual Worlds or a Drytron very well because there's not that much representation. The other decks are just inherently a little bit more powerful and more consistent at the moment. And then for two more other starter cards, I know y'all thought I cut it out because I didn't show you it from the beginning, but yeah, I still played a Psy Reflector package. Sorry, my nose is itching. So we still played a Psy Reflector package because Psy Reflector is just a starter card. It's so good. You E-Telly 1-for-1 normal, just getting easy access to Chaos Ruler is just so crazy. Like, that card is bonkers. This is $30 now mostly because of Dragon Link. But even if it wasn't Dragon Link, that card would slowly creep up in value and it'll hit $40. I guarantee you. So this package is amazing. The only thing I gotta say about it is when you do draw the trap card, it is very problematic. And I do draw the trap card sometimes. I'm like, oh, damn it. Looks like I lost. So if you draw the beast and then you have access to Reflector, it's still fine. Like, you may not get the extra +1, but it doesn't really matter as long as you're getting Chaos Ruler. Chaos Ruler is so powerful, so it doesn't matter at that point. And moving on to the spell cards, we play 3 Dark Contracts and then 1 Contract with the Swamp. This card is broken. This card is great. It's literally Scout, but instead of paying 8, you're paying 1,000. But sometimes you don't even need to pay 1,000 because literally sometimes you just use this for 1 search and you get rid of it with Lamian. But a lot of times I would like to leave it on board for rebuttal plays, and it's just very problematic for your opponent because if you keep on searching for a card, they have to keep getting rid of it, and this card just kind of like multiplies. So and then Swamp is just your other target. It's great. I used this once in a tournament to get around Gamma because if you fusion with the other guys, it triggers Gamma, and this was one way I was able to play around Gamma. And now on to the rest of the spell cards. We played 3 Forbidden Droplets, and I plopped this card in my deck. That card was in there because of my remote duel tournament. I remembered I had to take out the next card you'll see is Jack in a Hand because you can't play it in remote duel tournaments. I kind of have to take it out. But I kind of left it in, and it actually was very good in my tournament report because it actually won me 1 game where I played against BA Phantom Knight, and they ended with Dragoons, Pankratops. Yeah, I know, and he was going first. Dragoons, Pankratops, and Fogblade. So what ended up happening was I normal summoned, baited out both of his cards, baited out his negate with Dragoons by Desires, and then I used Tactics to steal his Dragoons, pop, attack for game. So Tactics was really good. Then I played for the next spell card. It was double Jack in a Hand. Just for consistency purposes, it's really good in this deck. You get access to any of the cards that you don't already have. Nothing else much to say about it. And there was actually one time I thought about this cool thing where you could like search Droll as one of your targets, and then your opponent would pick the Droll because you used Jack in a Hand, and then they would chain the Droll to your Jack in a Hand that you just resolved. and then you can gamma them, which is kind of funny. Um, I never did it, but it is there. Then Pot of Desires. This card is like in a lot of my decks. I love this card, but I can't play 3 of it because whenever I resolve it, I would draw another copy of Desires. That's not what I want to do with Desires. I want 2 extra cards in my hand that could facilitate more plays with. And then on to the last 3 spell cards. 1 E-Telly and 1 for 1. Just very good starters in this deck because it gets you access to your Psy Reflector, and also 1 for 1 is good with Kepler, obviously because it's level 1. And then on to the last spell card, I play 1 Galaxy Cyclone because we can search this, and that locals has a tendency to have a lot of trap decks, and I hate trap decks. Even though my deck is pretty good against trap decks, I hate trap decks. And then for my last card, it's Assault Mode Activate, the 1 brick. And then moving on to the extra deck. So the extra deck is awesome. I love this extra deck. It's just that I had to like kind of rush and change some things up last minute, and it's not perfected in the slightest. I'm actually in between swapping out 4 cards. I'll tell you why after. So on for the tuners. I mean, not the tuners. The Synchro Monsters. Hot Red. The other Hot Red. Shen Shen. These are your big boss dudes that you always plop out. Technically, this extra deck is full of boss monsters, but yeah, your opponent against certain decks, this will just destroy them. Against trap decks, it's not that great because they'll just set their cards and be like, all right, go ahead. But this card is really good against trap decks. This card is really great, and we know what Shen Shen does, and it recurs your resources, and it banishes your opponent cards, right? Then on to the other Synchro Monsters. The best card, Chaos Ruler, the Chaotic Magical Dragon. We played 1 DDD Curse Siegfried, and the last Synchro is Formula Synchron. So I swapped this out with Savage that I had before because I'm not playing that many more extra deck Link monsters. And I'm not going to be able to resolve Boral Savage all that much if I don't have that much Link monsters. Like, I cut the Link Rebo and there is no Cloth Sheep, and I'm using Crystron Helki Fibrax to go into Formula Synchron. Because the original combo, I used DDD Kepler and Lamia to go into this, and then we didn't really need the Crystron to go to the graveyard. I mean, we kind of had the Crystron going into the graveyard because we're not using it for the Formula Synchron. We were going for Calamity. In this version, we're using it to go for Formula Synchron, so it's going to get banished off of its effect, and then we're going to go into King Calamities. But I didn't actually go into King Calamities that much, so that is one of the cards that is definitely up to get changed. So on to the Link monsters. We're playing 1 Crystron Helki Fibrax, 1 Boral Sword Dragon, and 1 Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. I don't know where my secret rare Boral Sword is, so yeah, I'm using this really ugly looking gold one. So these are the only Link monsters I actually play. Appaloosa is great, but she might get cut in this format. Boral Sword is strong as hell in this amount out to Dragoons, and it ends games. And Crystron Helki Fibrax is the Link monster that was actually made for this deck. Not saying that the DDD Link monster isn't good, because it's probably going to go back in this deck. It's just that monster kind of locks you into certain things, and it's very irritating. Where Crystron Helki Fibrax does so much for this deck. So much. It gets fodder into the graveyard. It can get either your Lamia or your Ghost out. So it's very, very beneficial. And not only that, it's a Link 2, and it can easily go into a Boral Sword. So that's it for those 3. Onto the fusion monsters. So onto the fusion monsters, we're playing 2 Genghis, 1 Arc, and 1 Big Genghis. So the reason I play this ratio is because double small Genghis, you can go into the rank 6. Arc is for Eradicator and just an extra fusion monster to go into, and you can also use it to go into Siegfried with Lamia. And then Genghis is always there. It is one of the best fusion monsters in this deck. It is a spell or trap negate on your turn, and it special summons a DDD from the graveyard if a DDD is normal or special. So that card is very amazing. And then for the last 2 extra deck cards, one is Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, and then the second one is DD Wave High King Caesar. Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord is amazing in this deck. It gives you access to the Galaxy Cyclone that you saw in my main deck, and then DD Wave High King Caesar. Oh my god, so many people read this card and they're like, wow, this card is broken. I'm like, yeah, I know, bro. It's insane. The only reason nobody really sees this card is because it's so damn hard to summon. It takes 2 level 6 fiend type monsters. So, and this card is just ridiculous. It's not even once per turn. So both effects, crazy. So that's it for the extra deck. The extra deck, I'm thinking about changing 4 monsters. I'll show you those 4 at the moment. That are definitely in on the chopping block. One is Apo. The other 2 is Formula. This guy, because I didn't really use him at all in the tournament, which is kind of crazy. He's definitely my win con, and all 5 of my matches, I didn't go into him once. I literally just made negate boards the whole time. And the last one was Shen Shen. Yeah. So these 4 cards are on the chopping block at the moment. So I'm going to see what I'm able to fix from that. And then on to the side deck. So I played 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. The 3rd Triple Tactical Talons, because that card is amazing. And now I also play 1 Red Reboot. This card is great. I actually drew it and still lost because I had to play around 3 back row, Zombie World, and a Banish and a Negate. That was super hard. I almost was able to do it. All I need is 1 more card in my hand. Then we play 3 evenly matched. So I like really hate back row decks, and also 3 more cards for back row decks because I really hate back row decks. So I'm going to like destroy back row decks if possible. If I draw any of these cards, it's amazing, except Triple Tactical Talent, obviously. But these are my going first or second for trap decks. They're really great. Then I also played the other 2 Nibiru's. These are going into the main. I'm taking out the Skullmeisters. 2 Droll. These might change as well because I didn't really see them at all. And then for the last 2 cards, 1 Skullmeister, definitely changing this. And 1 Saphion, the Sky Prison. I played this because just in case I went against Rogue, or if I had to go against, let's say, a Phantom Knight guy, which I did, but he won both he won the die roll. I think I only won 2 die rolls the whole day, and I guess that's fair, right? Because it's five rounds that I played. So okay, yeah, that's fine. But if I went against, like, let's say Phantom Knights, it stops their extenders, stops Seer. Also, it's also good against Dragon Link for Pisty, and it's also great against Virtual World. So, and then Drytrons as well. So if I saw those decks, you know, because I assumed, remember, I thought I was playing that format. But yeah. So anyways, guys, that is it for the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think. But that's it. I will update you with another deck profile in the future. But without further ado, like, comment, and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube videos. And I'm out of here. Bye.